Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, of course, we have another portfolio update, just a little bit of a transparency update. I like to keep you all updated every now and then, and especially on a day like today, where we have reached all-time highs for the portfolio. This is the highest my portfolio has ever been at. Previously, it was at this recent peak on June 10th at $88,073. But as you can see, we're a little over that right now at $88,667. So if you do appreciate these portfolio updates and are just simply interested in these, then please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It definitely helps me out. And I feel like some of you all may just be interested in this, since I know that I've gotten a lot of comments from a few of you that have stated that your portfolio is similar to mine. So I do kind of understand that. It's kind of cool to have like a similar portfolio to somebody. You can kind of identify with them and relate to them. And I definitely feel that way as well with a lot of people that invest in Tesla and Microsoft and stuff like that. So anyways, let's jump right into it. As you can see from today, we are at plus $836, which is about plus 0.95% for today. And then the after hours, we're at minus $172, which is about minus 0.19%. And one thing that I've really been realizing over the recent past few days is that, especially in the after hours after 6 p.m., it's not really accurate of what's actually going to happen in the next day, because there's been many times so far, even just this week, that I've seen the after hours negative, but the next day is in the green for me. So the after hours on the day of, it doesn't really matter too much, but as you get farther into the morning of the upcoming day, then that's a little bit more accurate for the after hours, because the markets are more updated and stuff. So like I said, about 9 a.m. we started out at 0.80% above the market, had a little bit of a downturn until about 9:30. That's when the normal market hours started, and then we started going up, pretty significantly, and then finally at 1:40 p.m. we hit our peak of the day, which was at plus 1.74%. Oh my, I can't even imagine. Like, imagine if it stayed that high and just went baseline across the day at this level. I would almost be at $90,000. Once I hit $90,000, that's almost going to be like a milestone, because it's something that I never thought I would hit that soon. And especially if we hit $100,000, that's going to be so crazy. Like, I can't even imagine my reaction to $100,000, because it's just so crazy to think that I would have that much money. But yeah, at 1:40 p.m. we hit the peak at plus 1.74%, and then it kind of went down towards the end of the day. I mean, I kind of understand why we had this downturn, because a lot of people are probably selling off and cashing out just a little bit, because we've had like 2 green days in a row already after a fantastic day last week. I think last week was 4 green days in a row out of 5. I think Friday was red. So we've had a lot of green days recently, and I think people are getting a little bit cautious and scared and selling off. But as you all know, with my strategy, I'm buying and holding long term. Even when there is a crash or something, that doesn't change my investment strategy. I'm in it for the long term, and I do not panic sell. That's one thing that I will most likely never do, which is panic sell. So we ended the day about where we started in after hours. So not too bad of a stock market day. Any day that's green, I'm definitely happy with. And I just want to point out something that I thought was really interesting. And this kind of emphasizes on my stock picking strategy, where I have a very small number of stocks that I've chosen to invest in, like Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple. And this emphasizes so far not only the good stock choices that I have made, but also the benefits of concentrating wealth instead of diversifying wealth. And keep in mind, anything that I say in this video is not to be considered financial advice. It is simply me just sharing my thoughts and opinions. And I don't think that concentration of wealth is good for the majority of people out there. However, I do think it can work if you have the right mindset. But I think that is a pretty rare occurrence, because a lot of people are reactive in the market, and they don't separate their emotions from what's happening in the market and stuff like that. So I'm slowly learning that concentration is such an underrated strategy that I never really see anybody doing. Honestly, I'm one of the first people that I've seen actually, exemplify this and actually do it, where they only invest in a small number of stocks, and to see these results. I think I'm like the only one that I've ever even seen videos on YouTube of people doing it, except maybe like someone like Meet Kevin. I know he has a huge amount of money just in Tesla stock alone, so he's one of them. Stephen Mark Ryan from Solving the Money Problem. But when it just comes to finance YouTubers where people talk about the stock market and stuff, I mean, even other YouTubers like Andre Jick and Jeremy from Financial Education, I feel like Jeremy from Financial Education is sometimes a little bit of a swing trader. He likes short-term plays, but he still has a wide variety in terms of just a diverse number of stocks. So honestly, I feel like I'm one of the few people on YouTube that actually post videos where they actually use this strategy. But honestly, I'm realizing that it's pretty underrated. It's working so far right now, but it only works when all three choices that you have picked are doing well, or at least the top 2 out of 3 majority is doing well. So I don't want to speak too soon because it could always turn out bad, but so far, my experience with this strategy is working out very well, and I'm very satisfied with what's happening so far. And I'm bringing this up because I thought this was really interesting if we relate it to sort of like the stock market indexes like VOO. This is an ETF that mirrors the S&P 500. It tracks the top 505 companies. And then we have the NASDAQ as well, which kind of mirrors the tech stock market index. And what I really thought was interesting today was not only did I beat VOO, but I also beat NASDAQ as well in terms of growth. So NASDAQ had a really rough day. NASDAQ was actually negative. So for the majority of tech stocks out here, I would probably be in the red if I had made some other picks. I mean, even I know that Amazon and Adobe and Shopify are doing well, but there's a lot of tech stocks that were red today. So NASDAQ was actually surprisingly red today, and I beat that index. And then VOO was just a tiny bit green today at plus 0.22%. So somehow with a combination of my 3, and even if we singled out one single stock from this portfolio, I still managed to beat both VOO and NASDAQ in terms of growth. And the really interesting thing about this is every single stock managed to beat those indexes as well. So I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was really interesting, because sometimes, my stocks usually lean towards like the NASDAQ side since it's more tech focused, but usually my portfolio leans towards like one of these indexes, the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ. But surprisingly, it actually performed much better than both of them today. So it's like my portfolio is just its own index, its own thing. So I just thought that was cool to mention because I have to admit, I am always like looking at VOO and kind of comparing it to my current growth and stuff like that. Because as you all know, if you are familiar with my previous videos, I did sell $32,000 of VOO early at a loss to prioritize investing those funds into both Microsoft and Tesla. And so far, I've regained that $2,000 back and so much more. As you can see from the all-time, I am up $16,676.28, which is plus 23.17% for all time. And keep in mind, this all time is not like 5 years, 10 years. This is like a 6-month range. I started back in early December and really didn't start heavily investing until like January until February. And then I started heavily investing on the way down as well, and then some right in here too. So what I think is so cool about this is that I am like really beating the market right now. Even if you look at VOO, like if we look at the past year, VOO is up 5.85%. But the real comparison here is looking at what the stock was at on December, which is when I first started investing. So as you can see, the stock was at plus 5.35% in December, and now it's at plus 5.85%. So VOO isn't even up over 1% since December if you really look back and compare it to that month, compared to my stock market portfolio, which is up 23% since December. So that's an absolutely huge difference, and that's the reason that I sold off VOO. It's just a little bit too slow of growth for me. And to be completely honest with you, I actually told my mom about this. We were talking about the stock market, and one thing I told her, I was like, so far, every single decision that I've personally made and the decisions that I thought were a good idea, so far those have paid off in the stock market, and my gut instincts have been correct. However, the only thing left that I haven't really truly made my own decision on was my purchase of VOO. The main reason that I purchased VOO was back when I was really new to investing, and pretty much every finance guru has said this, which I don't think it's bad advice. I think it's a pretty solid choice. They always say you want to buy an index fund like VTSAX or VOO, which is an ETF you can get in Robinhood, which averages about 10% growth per year. So I thought, okay, that's the safe option. I should probably invest the majority of my money into that just to keep everything diversified. And then I slowly realized over time, as I got more familiar with the stock market and I started to understand things much more, and I finally got to where I was confident in picking my own stocks. So I thought, okay, instead of having this diversification here with VOO, I could actually just sell it and put my money into a stock that I think would make me much more than what VOO would make, because at this point I was pretty confident with my investments. So I decided to sell VOO and keep my investments concentrated on only 3 main stocks, which is Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple. So I used the $32,000 that I sold from VOO and put it into Microsoft and Tesla. And so far far, as you can see, these investments have really paid off, and they've been doing much, much better than VOO. But keep in mind, I think VOO is a really great stock, especially for beginner investors. It's one of those that you can kind of just put your money into and not really have to worry about for the long term, because it kind of does most of the work for you in terms of diversification. But with that, with diversification also comes that slow growth. And with me being so young right now, I'm only 22 years old, I'm pretty confident with my personal risk tolerance, and I feel like I have a high enough risk tolerance, especially at my age, to do something like this with concentration instead of mainly diversification. So far, I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on. Only time will tell in the future, but I'm still pretty confident in this strategy for the long term, considering the research that I've done and the confidence that I have in these stocks. And even Warren Buffett once stated that concentration is really where you can grow your wealth, whereas diversification is more like maintaining your wealth or slowly growing your wealth. So that's another thing that Warren Buffett has emphasized previously as well. It's a lot harder for him to do concentration when he manages things like Berkshire Hathaway, and when it's other people's money, it's a lot more difficult to do that because, like I said, there is some extra risk to that strategy. But even Warren Buffett once emphasized that that is a winning strategy, especially as an investor that doesn't have to worry about managing funds for a company and stuff like that, where it's just all of your money that you have to worry about. Then you can have a little bit more risk tolerance to engage in that investment strategy. So that's what I'm doing right here, and so far I'm very happy with how it's working out. My portfolio is at an all-time high today. So with that, we'll go ahead and break down the numbers for Microsoft stock. Thankfully, we have no losses for today, even on the free stocks. So just to go ahead and jump into Microsoft, I'll go ahead and run through the numbers pretty fast. As you can see, today's return, we are at plus $201 or plus 0.51%. And then for the total return, we're at plus $5,900 or plus 17.63%. So Microsoft is almost at 20% for me, and that is absolutely crazy to see. I'm very happy about that. And then next up, we have Tesla stock. It's so close to $1,000. 25 cents. We're a quarter from $1,000 once again. This one has just been really volatile around the $1,000 number recently, but as you can see, we're at plus 185 for the day, or plus 0.55%. And then for the total return, we're at plus $5,477, which is plus 19.21%. So that's near 20% gains for me as well. And then we have Apple stock, which is at plus 1.87% for the day, which is about plus $282. And then for the total return, we're at an absolutely insane plus 27.92%, or plus $3,353. And Apple stock has just been one of those that has been kind of under the radar for me. I really didn't expect it to outperform Tesla and Microsoft. I know especially in January, I was like really bullish on Apple, and I've always been really bullish on Apple, but it was going crazy on a tear in January, and it seems like it's doing that once again recently. And I just never really expected Apple stock to be that far ahead of Microsoft and Tesla in terms of growth, but I'm definitely happy about it, and I definitely think they deserve it as well. I think Apple deserves this valuation, especially with the most recent events of them building their own chip processors for their Macs instead of using the Intel ones. I think that's absolutely huge and a game changer. But anyways, I just wanted to share these numbers with you, all of my perspectives, as always, with this transparency update. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure to smash that like button. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and also feel free to check out my referral links to Robinhood and Webull in the description below. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.